starts out well, and then the wheels come off of the wagon.
So everything is fine. We got someone who wants to go look at a house.
Now we're going to hear where this falls off the cliff.
We need to learn to be dynamic on the phone. Why on earth would you possibly say that? There's no upside to it.
So here's my issue already. Cash call, everybody. Dale Archdekin, Brian Curtis, back again for another week. I cannot wait to help you guys improve your skills. Right, Brian?
Hey, man, it's one of my favorite things that we do all week. I get to spend a couple hours listening to phone calls, getting prepped, and then I just get fired up to do this. It's fun.
I have to give a shout out to Bob Dalla. I was just talking to him the other day. He signed up for our 12-week boot camp, and he's like, oh my God, I listen to Cash Call on repeat all the time. It's just playing in the background. I need more Cash Call episodes. So here you go, Bob. This Cash Call episode's for you.
Nothing like getting your own specialized Cash Call episode, right?
Yeah. When you watch this on YouTube or listen to it, comment below and I'll give you a shout out too.
Bob, I'm just going to talk to you real quick. I don't know that you've sent us any of your calls to review, so...
Bob has not sent us any of his calls. I did pressure Bob. I was like, dude, you got to get a recorder. You got to figure out how to record some of your calls. Interesting story. Now that we're talking about him, he's predominantly a door knocker.
Oh, wow.
Predominantly a door knocker, done pretty well doing it. And I'm like, hey, man, you take a recorder with you. Get some of those recordings. Let's hear what you're doing. And when you follow up with people, let's have some recordings of how that conversation goes because we can help you.
In the tech segment here on Cash Call, let me talk about this. This is what's called a plod. Right? You can pin this onto your shirt, a little bracelet that goes with it.
Cool.
And you push a button on top of this and it just records everything for you.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Is it applaud, like applause?
No, it's just plod, P-A-L-U-D. They have one that you can snap to the back of your phone that'll record phone calls too, and which I think is pretty cool. For me, the reason I got this is like when I'm doing presentations and stuff, yeah. I want to be able to go back and listen to it. Also, as it does an AI transcription of what you do. So, but if I was going out door knocking, it would be perfect because I could go back and play and go, oh, I can't believe I said that, or oh, that was awesome, it worked really well. Just doing recordings just like you're doing with phone calls. So.
Oh yeah, the other place to use that for us is in listing presentations and buyer consultations.
Yes,
where you're not on the phone, so that would be perfect.
Yeah, and you can literally put this thing in your pocket. I haven't tried that. I don't know how good the sound would be then, but again, it has like this little wristband thing with it, and so. To me, this just looks like one of those whoops, or there's all kinds of different things that take your blood pressure and your pulse and make sure you're healthy and all that kind of stuff. So I don't even think anything of it.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll drop the link to that in the description here, and I'm going to have to go check that out myself and then probably push it out in an email to our group of students.
It's not overly expensive. It's like $150 or something like that. So it wasn't like, oh, here, buy this great piece of tech. It's only $3,000. So.
Right. That's great. Here's what I got for us today, Brian. We're going to listen to a call that is clearly an offshore VA working as an ISA, which I do not usually agree with. We're going to listen to the call. What do you got for us today, Brian?
I've got a call that goes really well. An agent handles this situation that I would say most agents will handle pretty well, but he does a really good job. It's smooth. Everything goes well. And then he just decides, I don't know, it feels like he punts almost out of a fear or goes to a script that we won't even use anymore, and you'll see it. So it'd be interesting. I don't want to give it away because when I was listening to it, you listen to calls, you're like, oh, this got nothing. I was kind of listening to them like, oh, this is just going to be a good call. I won't want to do it. And then the bomb is thrown in. And so.
And then it went off the rails.
Yes.
I'll go first. This is a little bit longer. I'm going to let the whole thing play to really demonstrate what's going on here.
Hello. Yes. Hello, Mr. Lucas. Good morning. I've received your inquiry for a 3-bedroom home here in. So I'm simply checking in. Are you looking to move in the next 3 months or just browsing right now?
So clearly you hear our scripting, right? Except for all the extra formalities up front and the double greeting, they're using our script. Mm-hmm. It's a good script.
Yeah, it's a good script.
I'm browsing right now, but for the right opportunity, I could move.
Okay, perfect. What's the perfect opportunity look like for you?
Okay.
Great question, right? Clearly been in training. Awesome. We're doing good.
The right house in the right location. I'm looking for, I own the lakefront or a golf community. So
lakefront golf community. Okay, cool. And how many bedrooms and bath would this be?
So here's my issue already. I think the conversation's a little dry.
Not a little.
Yeah, so you're picking that up too. When I first heard this, we asked, are you buying or just window shopping? We asked, what would the perfect home be for you? Great, because he said if the right thing popped up. Then he said he wanted waterfront, which is very specific, right? It's a lifestyle choice.
Yep.
And show some interest. Be interested in that lifestyle, right? Oh, wow, that's cool. Have you lived on waterfront before, or is this kind of a dream of yours? Just ask an interest question. It helps break up the monotony of the check the box questions.
Yeah, and this is where I feel like you start to lose it with someone who's, and I'll even say this, someone who's non-local. I'm not even going as far as someone who is in another country. Like, I wouldn't want to be an ISA in Dales Market. I don't know what waterfront means in Dales Market. I mean, I know it's on the water. I'm not trying, but at the end of the day, I don't know if that doubles the price. I don't know if that triples the price. I don't know if it's, there's a whole bunch of it. If there's none of it available, I don't have the ability to talk about the market is the short version of it, because I don't live in the market. And, markets are very, very specific about things that I've never even thought of. And I talk to people in other markets and they're like, hey, we do this. I'm like, you do what? Here's an example. We had a house got struck by lightning the other day, and the asset manager who I'm working with on it said, do you guys have a rule in Arkansas where if a piece of property is damaged up to a certain point, you only have to do up to 10% of the purchase price, or the seller's allowed to terminate? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He goes, I'm in Arizona. If a house gets damaged and it's going to be more than 10% of the purchase price, the seller can opt out of the contract. Okay. And I know that has nothing to do with lead generation, but my point is, I've never even heard of that. I've been doing real estate agent for almost 25 years. Things matter differently in different markets. So just something to think about when you're doing that.
They do. And I can address this. We can train ISAs how to do this stuff and not be in the market to a certain point. You can talk to people to a certain point. Here's an example. I don't watch sports. I don't care about sports. I put myself through college by bartending at a popular local sports bar. Do you know how much I had to pretend like I knew what the hell people were talking about, or that I actually cared? I did it a lot. We can teach ISAs to do it to a certain point, right?
To an extent.
If I stick around in a sports conversation, at a certain point, you're going to start to sniff me out and be like, I don't think you really like this stuff or know what the hell we're talking about. But you can get through to a certain point. And with this here, the thing I want to point out is that she just needs to ask more interest questions, right? She can ask an interest question. Oh, I don't care if you're in Kuala Lumpur. Living on the water is a lifestyle and an interesting thing to do. And you can ask about that, right? I don't have to know what the prices are or anything like that.
And she switched back into script mode.
Yep. She's heavy script mode. The problem that I have is that for the majority of this, when they're using offshore labor to do sales, they are using people who English is not their first language, and they're not naturally salespeople.
No.
I can find you lots of people in the United States who are predominant first English is their first language, and they're not salespeople either, that I would not have make phone calls. So that's the problem. In a lot of cases, you're using people who aren't salespeople in a different language to do the most important job.
I mean, I've never heard an agent say, the problem is that I do such a great job of lead generation that I have too many leads. Right. Never heard that. Right.
Nobody's ever said that.
It's the pain point. Honestly, it's the pain point in most businesses. I mean, I can go and I'm sure I can find an example of something different, but the pain point in most businesses, how do we get more people to look at our product? That's it.
Right.
And so again, are you going to outsource your most important aspect of your business? It's a really interesting question.
So we're doing good so far, except we need some more we need to mix in an interest question. You're going to hear how dry this conversation stays.
Three bedrooms. And
All right. The minimum is 3 bedrooms. Okay. Perfect. And do you now live in?
I do.
Good question.
What's your current situation? Do you rent?
No, I own.
Sorry, what did you say?
I own.
You own. Okay. Do you need to sell your home first before you can actually move?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is straight down the script line, man. Like, not many diversions, and the what's your situation question, it was a little weird, which thankfully she followed up with, are you currently renting or do you own? But this is just very dry scripty stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? And this has nothing to do with it being offshore. I've seen onshore, or I've seen agents on my team do this. Like they go from, and this is something, if you're watching it, we need to learn to be dynamic on the phone. And I'm not saying that you're going to become the greatest telemarketer of all time. I'm not suggesting that, but you need to work on this because it is vital. Unless you're going to get your leads from someplace else, unless you're going to get, if you're not going to follow up on the phone or lead generate, then you don't have to listen to what I'm about to say. But otherwise, you've got to figure out a way to come across like you really care about the person, like that you really are interested in the person. You can actually be interested. That's one of the ways to do it. But my point is that there's too many people who go, okay, I'm in the rapport building phase, I'll be interesting, and then they go into discovery, and all of a sudden their personality, they did a personality, it just got taken out of them. How many bedrooms? How many baths?
A deectomy. A personality deectomy.
Thank you. I was trying
to. You were working. I could tell you were shooting for it.
I was stuck. So, but you know what I mean? That's what happens. Hey, yeah, oh, no, I got to go back to the script. I got to go into this person. We don't need to have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on a phone call. We need to be the same person throughout, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I got plenty of opportunities for it. People want to buy my house, so it's just a matter if I want to go. I've had offers. So
wonderful. Okay, so for you to be considering moving and you own a home, does that mean that you already have an idea of how much your home's value is at this time in the market?
Yes, I already do. Yes.
Great. So you're going to be using the cash or the proceeds from that sale to buy a new home. Do we have a budget yet?
It's flexible. I mean, anything from $600 to $900.
Okay, good. So $600 to $900. Okay. And how long have you been living in?
14 years.
Okay. So where you are right now, you're too far from any place you can play golf, and what's important
I'm not too far. I play a lot of golf around here, but I'm getting into my golden years, and I want to be in a community where I can retire and what I want to do. So.
Okay, here's how we fix what she did, whatever the heck she was doing. I don't know where that came from because that's not on the script. I don't know what script she's working from, but I'm pretty sure you're too far away from anywhere to golf that she just completely made up out of the thin air. I'm sure it doesn't say on her script, make something up. Hey, what's important to you about making this move? How'd you decide to move to the water? What is it you're looking to do? How are you looking to change your lifestyle by moving on to the water? What's that going to do for you, right? Some variation of that question is what she wanted to ask. I have no idea why she picked out too far to golf. I don't know what that was about.
Another thing I wanted to point out on there, she was trying to ask him about the value of his home. And she basically said, so you already know you value your home? And he went, yes. I don't know if he knows the value of his home or not. I don't. Yeah. I'm not saying he's lying, but I'm also saying when you ask a question like that.
Oh, well, 9 out of 10 homeowners think they know the value of their home.
Right.
Or, excuse me, 99 out of 100 homeowners think they know the value of their home, in my experience.
Right. And so you got to frame it in a way to get the yes that you're looking for. Hey, majority of people are not necessarily aware of how much the market has changed in the last couple of years. With that in mind, I'd be happy to, do a quick comparative market analysis for you, no cost. So send it over to you. I've got your email here. I'll send that to you this afternoon so you can take a look at that as well. Or some version of, how can I come over and take a look at your house is also a good thing, just depending on how far and how aggressive you want to be. But do you know the value of your home? Yep.
I appreciate what she was trying to do. And I'm going to say this VA is really well trained. And I appreciate what she was trying to do with that value of his home. She was trying to angle toward giving him a CMA or potentially, developing also a buy-sell situation. Mm-hmm. But she just doesn't have the skill to do it.
This is a little bit more complex in that I'm not saying he's not motivated, but he's not motivated by time.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's no leverage here. And so you have to really understand, what is the problem I'm solving here?
Yeah. Let's hear how this goes off the rails. I would say this is actually really good compared to some things I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're going to hear where this falls off the cliff. Hey, two things. One, I would love for you to submit your recordings. I promise Brian and I will be nice. We will anonymize your call, but you can get basically free coaching and free feedback on how your calls are going. And usually whatever you're doing in your calls, when you're having conversations, they generally follow certain patterns. Every salesperson has certain patterns. So if you send us a couple of calls, we can usually pick out some patterns that are getting in the way of you having better conversations, building more rapport, keeping people on the phone with you, or even overcoming their objections, or setting up and asking for and getting a good appointment with a new buyer or seller. So click the link below to submit your calls. We will review them. And then if we select them, we'll play them live on Cash Call. Two, if you like this and you want to look into our training, click the link below. We have a free appointment masterclass that you can come and check out. And oftentimes we have some type of free introductory training that you can get into that is us live training our scripting and dialogue techniques and strategies to help you improve your sales results immediately. Thanks. Now we're going to hear where this falls off the cliff.
I don't want to have to leave the community to get to what I want. So I want to have it right at home. So.
Okay. So are you retiring or are you already retired?
I'm retired.
You're retired. Is there anybody else moving with you or making the decisions with you on the property you find?
My wife.
Just your wife and you. Okay. Wonderful. So let me confirm this. You've provided us your email, which is at AOL.com. Is this the best place to send you some listings?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. And would you be interested in a consultation to get an opportunity to see the off-market properties before they are even widely available to public?
Okay. The English is getting worse, and the offer is basic at best, right? Like, do you want to talk to a salesperson to get an email about properties? That's a terrible pitch. And I definitely would not have phrased it that way.
Me neither. It took me a second to figure out where she was going. I think you probably saw my face. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about?
Yes,
and then, again, she added some more words, and then I was able to, in context, figure it out. But,
yeah,
one of the things for the audience to understand is you, the audience, me and Dale, we have a general idea what's about to happen anyway. I don't know how confused that client would have been. He doesn't know the terminology, the process, the thing, and we're confused. I can't imagine the level that he's probably confused.
Yeah. All right. So it's going to get worse. Keep listening.
That'd be fine.
Is this something of value to you? Perfect.
You said yes.
So the next step will then be, I'm just following process, is to speak with a consultant for 10 minutes to 15 minutes if you have time later this evening, and after which they'll be providing you the full list of our exclusives. So would this evening be all right for you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. And at this time, have you got any questions about lakefront properties at all, or the market, or anything about your home search?
Not that she could answer them.
No, actually, I was just looking around online and trying to see what was out there. And so, to be honest with you, I don't even remember which company you were with, because I did check a few. I was just doing some research myself. So what company are you with?
I'm with, and we're an affiliate of, so pretty huge brokerage, and you can definitely take advantage of our exclusive listings. So that's the company where I'm at. I'm the client concierge.
Were you just texting me a while ago, or when you
listen to this?
That is definitely my colleague who is in charge of texting, because a lot of our clients prefer texting.
There's two different VAs. You got one person texting and one person calling. And she's like, oh, that was my colleague who was texting you. They're in charge of texting. Okay, thank you. That's great. But keep listening.
So yeah, I just now that you mentioned it,
because I just gave that person on the text all the information you just asked me. So that's why you might be somebody different.
Yeah, I've just seen the text now that you mentioned it.
I want you to hear this.
If you're the same company, then y'all both asking the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're simply following process. So no worries then. I'll send you the text confirmation and also some of the listings I have asked.
Okay. Yeah, we're simply following process.
He doesn't care about your process.
He just wants to know why he's giving the same answers to two different people. And so that's why when I first talked about this call, Brian, I was like, magically, this circus of how this is getting done didn't ruin that conversation or get that lead pissed off. The guy still agreed to talk to one of their agents, which is unfathomable. I don't understand why he did that. But you know how you always point out, you're like, just because it worked doesn't mean you did it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because this didn't blow up in your face didn't mean you didn't try every which way to ruin this.
It wasn't due to lack of effort.
It was not due to lack of effort to screw it up.
Let me put a positive spin on this, though. I'm Dale. I'm sure you deal with this all the time, talking to agents across the country. People are scared to make phone calls for some reason, right? Like this agent, not even an agent, this inside sales agent who lives in another country with very little training. She does have a script. We know that. But
she's pretty well trained, except when they go off her script, and then it falls apart.
So here's the thing. Imagine if you lived in the market. Imagine if you understood the market. Imagine if you understood the nuance of our language and were able to ask questions that made sense because you understood the nuance of language.
Yeah.
My point is this. If someone does 10, 15% better with this phone call, it's out the park. It's crazy. Just a little bit.
This guy's a great lead.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody listening to this, like any agent who sells real estate would be more than happy to talk to this guy
every day.
Right.
Great lead. Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to find them. You can't be afraid of this stuff. You know, you make a great point. This VA, compared to an agent who doesn't call anybody, she knocked it out of the park, crushed it. You know what I mean? Got to have these conversations. These people are in your database. These people are in those leads you're getting. You just have to do the outreach and have the conversation. And you can take the big, fat, juicy opportunity that was here. And because you actually are a salesperson, you can do a better job with it.
Yeah, it just since you love sports so much, I just had the Wayne Gretzky quote run through my head. You miss every shot you don't take, right? So,
yes.
And again, I'm making fun of Dale for that, but it's true. If I don't make a phone call, I'm not going to screw up. That's true. And I'm also not going to get an appointment. I'm not going to get a transaction. I'm not going to, but a lot of people, that's the thing. Well, what if I screw up? Well, what if you don't?
Yeah.
Sometimes we ask the wrong question, but get on the phone, make these calls, screw them up, send them to Dale and I, and we'll make fun of you. It's a great time. So anyway,
I get frustrated with sometimes the way that teams or agents are sort of disregarding all of the leads that they actually have, because there is quality. There are people. And yeah, you got to wade through some rejection, and it sucks. I don't like getting rejected.
Either.
I don't know too many people who are normally adjusted human beings who like getting rejected. None of us do.
No.
But if you can fight through it, there's real people in there. It's great conversations to have. There's people you can help, and they're going to work with you.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Sometimes you just got to do it. So, are you ready for me to share my call?
Yes.
Let's
hear yours.
There's some intro that happens that I cut out.
Up and she's like, "Hey, schedule a tour for me."
So that's the goal. We're finding your in-laws' property.
Yes, they want to be close to grandkids, so they're want to look for small houses kind of in the area. And this one, I think, kind of meets some of their criteria, but they're just, want to get someone to walk through and look at it and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure. So I can do a video tour if they prefer, or we can go do something together if you're local. Are they not around?
They're not local, but I am. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So if you want to do something together, we can. We can go book a tour and go look at it, or I can do a video tour for them. It's really whatever works for you guys, and then we can kind of go over everything at the house when we're there looking at it.
Sure. Yeah, I can walk through it with you.
Cool. Awesome. What's your schedule this week?
I'm very free tomorrow. if that works, and Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday I'm a little busy.
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll be able to do tomorrow for sure. I'll see when this place is available, and I'll schedule us a showing. And since we're going together, I'll send you.
So I'm going to hit pause here. So far, I didn't pause it. I didn't stop it, right? Everything's just like
doing good.
Going along. The woman agrees to meet him. I would say I would have liked him to get a little bit more specific on the time, but I also feel very confident that this woman will take his phone call when he calls her back because she wants to go see this property. So that's not the end of the world. So everything is fine. We got someone who wants to go look at a house, and then look what we do.
The buyer agency agreement, I know it's for your in-laws, but they just make us sign a paper so we're able to tour homes. I didn't even actually do a video tour without it. So, yeah, it's called the buyer agency agreement. I'll send it over to you. And just like up front, so the buyers don't pay us anything. The brokerage fees are covered by the seller, and that's all part in the contract and already been taken care of. So I'm free to you. So that's or free to your in-laws, I guess.
Pause this.
That's the end. So I'm just gonna stop it because there's 2 seconds.
We got a few problems here.
I think you understand. Like everything was fine, right? Like
everything was fine.
I'm playing this because I want everyone to understand that you can do everything perfectly and then screw up. Just kind of the opposite. I mean, it's going to work out just fine. I think. I don't really know yet, but why? Why, Dale?
Well, now let me just ask this. So he doesn't already have a buyer agency agreement with them? Clearly,
no, just
right?
met her on the phone, 5 minutes ago.
Okay. And this is in Arkansas or Colorado?
Arkansas.
Okay. And in Arkansas, does the MLS require him to have an agreement signed before he can show a property?
I don't know if it's required by the MLS. It has become standard practice. I don't even know technically if it's required. Some states are saying it's not technically required, but policy is, everybody in the market, just like most markets, goes, yep, you have to sign this or we can't show you the house. So.
Okay. So when do you want him to introduce that concept?
I don't have a problem where he introduced it, especially with this person. To me,
the introduction was bad, but I didn't know if you're saying don't introduce it now and introduce it later.
No, I've got no problem with that. If they would just say, hey, I'm going to send you a thing called buyer agency agreement where there's a new policy for realtors across the country that says that we have to have this signed before we can show people the house. And I'm just going to send it over for you to review. And, you can bring it with you. You can sign it electronically, whichever you prefer. Be happy to answer any questions. So it just, when you state it like it's something that has to happen, that it's a fact, that it's non-negotiable. And again, it's not like she's going to call another agent and they're going to go, no, you won't have to sign that. They're going to say the same thing. Probably.
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be people who do things wrong, but it's not. But the prevailing thing to say is, yes, you have to sign this. So why?
And we don't say I'm free to you and the seller always pays, because guess what?
So that is, and it really hurt my head, like when I heard it, because we said that about 3 or 4 years ago, and then about 3 or 4 years ago, they decided we couldn't say that as members of NAR.
Right.
It's like he's 2 iterations behind.
Yeah.
Because then we had the NAR settlement iteration and how things changed there. So I don't understand it. And really the question becomes for me, and I'm going to ask the agent, like, why did you wuss out? That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd be interested. I'm going to speculate based on the way the conversation went. Sometimes, and I've done this, I'm sure you've done it, where you think it's in the bag and you take it for granted and you're like, oh, this is easy. I'm just going to forego process or procedure or good practice and just be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to send you this agreement. We're going to sign it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay for me. Blah, blah, no big deal, right? And then it bites you in the ass. I specifically have run into this where I think I'm jiving with a potential client, potential seller. I'm like, oh, this is in the bag. I got this. You show up. You don't really do your presentation. You do it kind of half-assed, and then you pull out the papers, and they're like, well, we would really like to interview some other people, and I want to talk about your commissions. And you're like, holy I was not prepared for this whatsoever.
Right.
I just totally blew that.
Just going to sign this, weren't you?
I thought I was just coming here for you to sign a paper. What do you mean? What do you want to think about? What do you mean you want to think about stuff?
Shit, I got to sell.
And yeah, like it definitely bites you in the ass when you get too comfortable, too familiar, and you think you got this, and then you realize you screwed up. You do it the right way every time, no matter what. and it's not going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up. I literally went to a listing appointment one time that was a referral, right? Yeah, we referred you. I get in there and I've got my listing contract and I got
You show up in shorts and a hoodie.
No, I showed up professional.
Okay.
But I sat down and I started going over the contract because I thought that's what we were doing. And the guy's like, well, what are you going to do to sell my house? I was like, oh, crap. He's,
you want me to sell you?
yeah.
I get it.
And I had to apologize. I don't know. I can't remember if I got the listing or not. I just remember the feeling of, oh my God, why are you such a moron? And why'd you make the assumption that this person's going to, give you $20,000 just because, somebody knows them,
right.
And we get in that mode though. And I was
definitely all done it.
I'm here to do some paperwork,
I feel like that's where that guy was. I feel like he had a level of comfortability.
Okay.
And then he just had like sort of diarrhea of the mouth when it came to that.
And you know what? I hope that's what it is. Obviously he's a competent agent. He's been an agent for quite a while. Good agent, does a good job and all those kind of things. And, and that's the thing. And I'm glad that majority of my phone calls are not recorded. Full disclosure.
All of my sales calls are recorded, so we can.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you this. I had one the other day. I did such a poor job of selling our training services. It was terrible. I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna go now, and I'm like, literally. I was like, all right, so should I have my guy Rich follow up with you?
Because I suck.
Because I'm out of this. And the guy goes, no, send me the link for the 12-week boot camp. I'm going to sign up. And I was like, what? You're going to what? Okay. And then I got off that call and I was like, I don't even know if I want to take this guy's money. I did so bad. How am I going to teach you sales if I did that bad? I almost feel like you can't pay me for this because it's terrible. But I was like, whatever. Okay. I guess we just chalk that one up. I had no idea that was going to result in a sale because I was doing so bad. But yeah, we all do it.
Yeah, communication is a funny thing. I taught a class yesterday for a group of agents on recruiting, and it's funny because I knew the things that were important that I was teaching, right? At the end you go, what are your takeaways? And they say things and you're like, I don't even know if I said that, So, and I'm not dogging another group of people. It's a great group of people. Why am I saying that? People don't always hear what you say, and you don't always realize what you say.
I do want to make one point real quick before we end about bringing up the buyer agency agreement.
Oh, okay.
And, one of the things that you definitely want to do is ask the prospect some form of this question. How familiar are you with the new changes to what real estate agents now have to do in order to show any home listed in the MLS? So it's a question to ask you what you know, but it's also a very leading and sort of positioning question that almost educates you just in the nature of the question itself.
I think it's a great question. And here's another thing. Here's some great psychology that goes with this. Most people don't want to say that they don't know. So if you ask the question that what Dale said the way they did, most people go, oh yeah, I know about that. And it makes it easier to sign because they don't want to admit they didn't know what the hell they were talking about 5 minutes ago.
That's funny. Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Cash Call, Dale Archdekin, Brian Curtis will be back again next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, two things. If you found that helpful, one, I would love for you to submit your recordings. I promise Brian and I will be nice. We will anonymize your call, but you can get basically free coaching and free feedback on how your calls are going. And usually whatever you're doing in your calls, when you're having conversations, they generally follow certain patterns. Every salesperson has certain patterns. So if you send us a couple of calls, we can usually pick out some patterns that are getting in the way of you having better conversations, building more rapport, keeping people on the phone with you, or even overcoming their objections, or setting up and asking for and getting a good appointment with a new buyer or seller. So click the link below to submit your calls. We will review them. And then if we select them, we'll play them live on Cash Call. Two, if you like this and you want to look into our training, click the link below. We have a free appointment masterclass that you can come and check out. And oftentimes we have some type of free introductory training that you can get into that is us live training our scripting and dialogue techniques and strategies to help you improve your sales results immediately. Thanks.